We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Well,
Yeah.
shouldn't you use a towel to clean that up?
You know, I'm a paper towel guy. My wife likes the towels.
Okay. Why do we have tissues, paper towels, and toilet paper?
Okay, I'll go one further. Why do we have facial tissue?
Well,
And
I
then,
don't. Are you implying you use facial tissue?
well, facial tissue is
Isn't that a tissue?
a Kleenex. But we
Yeah.
slip the branded. Do you always say branded everything? Do you say, are you a Kleenex guy or Scott tissue? What's the other one? What's the
Don't.
one that's got the lotion in it? I like the one that's got the lotion because it
Oh,
saves,
puffs or something like that?
well, yeah, kill two birds with one stone. You got to,
So, yeah, because forever it was Xerox. You Xerox something, right?
yeah, that makes me
And
copy it.
yeah, but they're no longer. I don't know. Are they even a player in that market anymore? I have no clue. But well, welcome back, Dave.
No, welcome back to you, Woody.
Yeah, we missed last week, partially because I was semi-traveling, but unfortunately, we the family here, the Woodrow family in the Greater Charlotte area, lost a pseudo family member last week. Our pet dog of 15 years passed away. So I was a bit somber and probably not in a joking mood because we were going to have to record Tuesday, and she had passed Monday evening. So it was less than 24 hours, and I was like, you know what, I got to pack and everything. So I decided that I would prefer not to do the podcast last week. So and then I was traveling the rest of the week. So
Well, first of
I,
all,
yeah,
I'm sorry for your loss.
I appreciate it.
And it seems, I don't want to trivialize it, but I mean,
Oh,
it's a dog we're talking about,
yes,
but
yes.
we do get attached to these little fellas. They become
Uh,
family members. And you spend 15 years with anything.
it's part of you, yeah. And in this was the first kid dog that we
Yeah,
got for the kids, and so they all grew up with her, and she was there. She was entertaining them, and
yeah,
watching over them, and all, their protector and entertainer, and just whoever they needed her to be. She was over those 15 years. So it was a tough loss for everybody, and having to call the kids and tell them because none were at home at the time, so that was especially tough on everyone. But yeah, we're making inroads, and we haven't got a new pet or anything
well, that
already.
was going to
But
be a question. I didn't know if you were too
yeah,
soon to talk about that, but no, nothing in the discussion about replacement.
yeah, I'm not a pet person per se, but everybody else in my orbit here is. So I suspect at some
No
point in
time.
time, yeah, there'll be another dog or two in my future. So yeah, it's not that I don't like pets. It's just I don't like the responsibility of pets in terms of you can eat traveling, everything.
You're
It
selfish.
just yeah, yes, in that regard, yes, very much so.
Well,
You know,
Sheila's the same way. She,
yeah.
and I get it. When we lost our captain, our last Springer Spaniel, she said, "That's it." And I'm like, well, I get it. And but now I'm watching these Springer Spaniel channels on Facebook, and I send her, I go, look at this cute one. But you're right. They're like children. You can't just leave them. You got to have
No,
someone to take care of them. So
right, and it's not cheap
it's
anymore
not cheap.
because
No.
taking care of a dog. When we were kids, you'd get the neighborhood kid to do it, right? And you'd come by and let the dog put the dog on the chain for half an hour and bring him back inside and say
Yeah, but God
goodbye.
knows what he was doing at your house. Probably eating you out of house and home.
It's funny. Me and my brother just had a discussion this past week. We're like, what was Dad thinking, letting our friends watch the house
Yeah.
while we were on
Look, a carton of
vacation?
smokes. Yeah, let's go.
And I never knew of the shenanigans they pulled, but apparently my brother was a little bit more aware of some of the things that went
Yeah.
on while we were away.
Mm,
So,
very good
um,
idea.
yeah, so that's where I was last week, out in very northern California, Humboldt County, California, visiting with my brother, his wife, and their son, and my my father. My father lives with them at this point in
Okay.
time. He's at that point where, they have a nice whole separate suite in the basement, I guess. It's a day basement, so it's kind of like an apartment. So it kind of works out really well in that regard. So
A
if he needs,
day basement versus a night basement. What does that mean?
yeah, do you know what a day basement is?
Is that a walkout?
Yeah, that's what we call it. I guess maybe that's a Carolina thing. I always thought that was
So he could walk out the backyard and be at
Yeah.
ground level.
Yep. Yeah. So there's nothing, because
Okay.
the ground slopes from front to
I
back,
got you.
and so,
I got you.
yeah.
All right. And I understand that you had a discovery while you were there, as far as all things bourbon.
Yeah, we were at the well, they sell them in they sell liquor in the grocery store there. I guess, do you do? No. You
Well, we
have
have a liquor
stores,
store adjacent to the grocery store, depending
but
on
it
who it
can't
is.
be with the groceries, right?
No.
Okay. And in California, it can be. So we were picking up a few odds and ends. And I said, well, let's just walk over there and look. And I, so we were looking at the local stuff. Me and my brother were, and we noticed the one from Humboldt County. And I said, oh, yeah, that's nice. Whatever. I said, well, here's the one I drink all the time. And he said, well, let's get the other one. I said, me being cheap. He goes, well, I'll buy. And I said, all right, here you go.
Yeah. Woody's like, okay, sign me up.
Getting
Me
good
too.
stuff. Right. Didn't have to ask me twice. So we tried Bolt, BOLDT bourbon whiskey, and it's made there right in Humboldt County. It was a single barrel 101 proof.
And it's made by, it looks like, the Alchemy Distillery.
Yeah, you did a little history
I
on
did a
it. Yeah. So,
yeah. And it's a weeded bourbon. So have you had a weeded? You know what that means?
please.
Well, I'm by no means am I an expert. So if someone tunes in and says that Dave doesn't know what he's talking about, but
There's always someone who knows something more than you in all these
I
in
respect
any
that.
venue.
And if I don't know it, I make it up. So we all know that. But
And
anyway,
people challenge Stephen Hawkins for that matter.
yeah, well, he can't really defend himself. So
Did you see that picture on Epstein Island?
was he out there too, or is that a meme?
No, I think it was true. They poked fun of it on SNL News, so
man.
I think it was.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it was terrible jokes too. But if you just watched last week's news,
the mash bill, when they do a recipe to make the bourbon, obviously by federal law, it has to be 51% corn. I wonder, the more corn, this part I don't know. Let's say they get elevated in like 60% corn. Does it turn it into like grain alcohol or something? I don't know. But anyway, 51% corn. And then they use rye to soften it as part of the blend, or they use wheat.
oh.
And I think there's even one that has oats or something in it. But this particular bourbon you're talking about, Bolt bourbon, is what they call a weeded bourbon. So the mash bill, I think they call it mash bin bill, has got a recipe that involves a little bit more. It's got the same amount of corn, at least 51%, but then the recipe is made up with wheat. So it should have been a little smoother, maybe a little sweeter, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that from the taste. As my brother gave me a new term for bourbon tasting, and she's got some fight in her. It was his initial remarks on tasting bold bourbon.
He's got some fight in her. Ooh,
yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So I enjoyed that. I thought that was a good new term for whiskey. There was another distiller in town. I think it's called Humboldt Distillery that I had some vodka from. I was rummaging through his liquor cabinet and found that. So we partook of that on another evening.
Oh.
So yeah.
Well, the good times with brother.
Yeah, it was fun. A good weekend. He's a decent cook, and the company is nice. So I just have to do a few DIY tasks around the house to pay my rent, and then
so you're the handy guy that fixes like the doorknob and the
exactly what I did.
Squeaky cabinet.
Well, the one thing he asked, he goes, "Yeah, and I also need you to test the smoke detectors." I'm like, "What do you mean test the smoke detectors?" I said, "You can't test the smoke detectors."
The little button.
It's a button you push. I know, but I just want to do it. I'm like, all right. I never did do it. So.
Oh. 2 weeks later, the house
Yeah, I
burns
know,
down.
right? The house burns down.
Yeah, we'll see a note as California fire starts in Humboldt County.
Right. Oh
Burns
man, that'd be
7 million
horrible.
acres. Yeah, all right.
Right.
If only
Ah.
we had the smoke detectors working, we could have found it. All right.
Anyhow,
Well,
so
I'm glad that you had a good visit with Pops.
yeah, it was
Jean, that
good.
you're
Good
listening,
time. I'm trying to get
and
out there again
yeah, and your
sometimes.
brother and
Yeah.
sister-in-law, that good stuff. Always
So
good family.
I got bamboozled. I will interrupt. I got bamboozled on my flight from Denver to Humboldt County. It was one of those small CRJ jets, Canada regional jet, so it's 2x2 as you get on,
Is
right?
it Frontier or something, or what was it?
No, it was United Airlines. It's just a regional jet.
Yeah.
That's all. And so I get on the plane, and I had a window seat, which whatever. That's what I had chosen. And I get to my row, and a lady's in that seat. And I said, "Oh, I think you're in my seat." She goes, I'm handicapped, and it's really hard for me to move, so I didn't want to stand in the aisleway until you got here." And because I really don't,
she's playing the cards to let me stay here against the window.
well, yeah, and I'll tell you the whole story. I didn't put
Okay.
two and two together, but I was like, fine, I'll sit in the aisle, because I really don't care, right? I chose the window just because I had a choice,
Right.
but sometimes I choose the aisle too. And I'm like, no, I'll sit. She goes, well, thank you. And I get all my stuff and I put it down and I get in my seat. And then the pilot gets on and says, hey, we're going to be hitting some turbulence on takeoff, and it'll be a while before we get up to cruising altitude and everything. So with only one restroom on this plane, if it now would be a good time before we back out of the gate. She turns to me and goes, yeah, I should probably do that. You just got done telling me how hard it is for you to move and get out of your seat. And then to your point, she had already put all her stuff in that seat and everything. I didn't even put two and two together. She didn't just sit in that seat. She put so she had the whole time planned on
When
staying
she's in the
that.
can, did you slide on over there? And say,
That's what I
second
thought. Just watch this. I'll move all her crap back over to the aisle.
Now that you've mentioned, I think I'm going to take my seat. So,
Oh man, I just got bamboozled, and I thought, okay, if she's on my flight home and we happen to be in the same row, I will not let that happen again. But
I think I would have given. I think I would have given her, when she started with her story, I would have gone like, pan face and go, so
yeah.
How does that affect me?
Yeah, I know. I just it was because I really didn't care that I did it.
You did the right thing,
I guess, because it would have turned into a whole. I made in handicap. She had a boot on and a sling on her arm, but she hopped right up. And well, the funny thing is, when she first tells me that, because I'm talking 3 minutes after she got telling me how it was so difficult to move, this came up. She goes, I think I should go. And I'm like, are you sure? Is what I said. Like, are you kidding me?
She's snapping the Velcro boot off and running down the hall doing cartwheels.
Anyhow, so I thought that was comical because it was on me for being bamboozled on my seat. So if our listeners have had that issue, drop us a note in the comments. You're subscribing.
Yeah, that's right. We're supposed to say that right now. I remember we did that research and we found out that we really didn't. But if we say it now, subscribe to us, like and follow us on Facebook. Oh, what the hell is this thing? We're on YouTube. Maybe that's the problem. We don't communicate very well. Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Anyhow,
all right.
So how was your week, or 2 weeks for that matter?
The POS. I don't want to say POS yet. The Santa Fe has reared its ugly head again.
I thought you meant the city. You mean your car?
Well, the city might be. Yeah, I've got car problems. It's a 2011, so I can't complain too much. So let's just get right to it, though.
How many miles?
I'm pulling out of the parking lot at school, and there's a couple, bang noises, like bang.
Kids throwing stuff at your car.
Well, I thought I had like someone that put a piece of wood, that was stapled to my tire, and I was hitting the frame of the car.
They put one of those wheel locks on your car.
So I'm like, what the heck is that? So I did a quick Google, like, my 2011 POS is making
But
a
you
bang
kept
noise.
driving?
Well, I kind of backed up just to see what it
Oh,
was going
okay.
to
All
do.
right. All right.
So it turns out that it's the ABS system. Now, maybe you know something about this, but I get it home, and the transmission is starting to do some funky stuff. You
And
know,
it's
it's not.
banging the whole way home.
Well, it only banged twice. I figured through a
Okay.
rod or something. Who knows? But it only banged twice, and then the transmission. When I finally get to 6 miles down the road, it won't shift out of third or fourth gear. It may be like a 6 speed or something. I don't know.
Automatic.
Oh yeah.
No,
And
okay.
so I get it home. I'm like, okay, it's either lower transmission fluid. You know, there's a whole host of things going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get up under the hood. It's front wheel drive, so I know,
Right.
front wheel drive thereabouts where the transmission is, but there's no transmission fluid to check. I can't find it. So I open the brake container and I'm like, no, that's not it.
Right.
So I call this guy. I call my Tires Plus guy. And he goes, "Yeah, we don't do transmissions, Mr. Theus." But he
Right.
sends me to a place. It's got transmission in the name,
Yeah.
so they do it. And so I give him what's going on, and he goes, "You got any
Now we
lights
don't do
on?"
transmissions, sir.
Yeah, he goes, "You got any lights on the dash?" I'm like, "Yeah, pick one. They're all on."
Oh, I thought you meant your headlights. You're like, I gotta leave. This guy has no clue what's going on.
Well, the blinker keeps coming on every time I hit that whatever. Anyway, so I said I did some, Google diagnostic sort of thing, and it sounds like it's somewhere between the ABS and the speed. There's some sort of wheel sensor or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I said, should I get it? And he's like 2 miles away. I said, should I get a tow and bring it in? I don't want to tear it up. And he goes, well, it sounds like you're on GIMP mode or
Okay.
limp mode. What is that?
It just where the engine, the processor notices a major issue, and it'll limit the engine to anything dangerous. That it won't let it high rev or maybe shift gears or anything like that. So it's these engine control units, and when it senses issues that need to be addressed, it will trim the car way down. That's kind of what I was running into when I told you my story where I couldn't get the tires to spin in the ice because it said, oh, something's wrong, so it wouldn't let it spin.
I'm tired of these computers, man.
So rip them out.
So anyway, so he goes, why don't you drive it down tonight? He goes, it's up to you, Mr. Theus. And so I told him, I said, look, it's a
Does
2000.
everybody call you Mr. Theus?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I command a certain level of respect. Anyway, so I said, all right. So I drove it down. We went to church or somewhere or something, and we got home. I said, Sheila, follow me along. So 9 o'clock, I'm dropping it off in his front porch, left the key. He gets it underneath the whatever, does the check on it and runs the code, and it comes back ABS. So apparently this ABS system, brand new, is like $3,000.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
And so the next step, and I'm doing some diagnostic stuff online. The next step is to get a rebuilt one, or for about, I don't know, $1,500.
Yeah.
And so he calls me up and says, all right, Mr. Theus, all the codes keep coming back ABS. It sounds like the ABS system is at the top. I don't know how to say this, but at the top of the food chain. And then once it's banged up, whatever's wrong with it, then down the system is the transmission and the speed sensors at the wheels. All this other stuff is, if the ABS is messed up, it's going to mess up those other systems. And so I said, okay, so if it's the ABS and then we fix the ABS and then it comes back and says, oh, well, you fixed the ABS, but now we're reading the other codes.
Yeah.
Because, well, we think it's the ABS.
Yeah.
So I go, what do we do? He goes, well, I got a guy in Georgia. He goes, I'm going to pull this thing out of your car. You won't be able to get to it yourself.
Right.
And we're going to send it to Georgia, and it's soldering. So what is this thing? Is it like a motherboard? It's not mechanical.
I'm assuming it's another control module. I'm not familiar with the ABS systems other than the sensors that are on the hubs. I've had to replace a hub before, and I had to make sure I bought a hub with the ABS on it because the one I took off had it, and there was no way to move it from.
Well, that's what he said. The problem is you have to have it programmed to your VIN number.
Okay, and that's the way. See, that's crap these dealers do to limit where you can get parts and stuff. You have to go to because that's what happened to me. So
I asked him, was that an anti-theft thing? He said, no, it's It's just
anti-do-it-yourself thing is what
yeah.
it
And
is.
so he
Yeah.
said the good news, this guy in Georgia is going to do it. It's your ABS system, so we don't have to $250
Right.
to reprogram it, so it's going to work. And so apparently they send it to this guy in Georgia. He pulls it apart. They resolder the board. He puts it back.
Figures out what's wrong with the board. Yeah.
Yeah. And
They
so
do that with a lot of the control units on cars. There's an aftermarket where I did that for a transmission years ago. That I just bought an aftermarket TCU, transmission control unit, that someone had that had
yeah,
fixed. They fix them. You send them your old one, they send you a new one. Well,
yeah, it's like a rebuilt, refurbished
rebuilt
or
one.
whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's at the shop. I called him today. The part's in Georgia still. He's working on it. It's $900.
Yeah, it's not they got you over a barrel because, like you said, what you give me 900 or 3,000 to go get a new one.
Well, the problem is I told the guy, I said, look, you can clearly see this thing as a, it's at the end of the road. He goes,
It's
yeah.
not worth $3,000.
I said, and now I'm at the point where I'm going to spend $900. We're really at
Yeah.
Fisher cut bait time.
Yes.
He goes, yeah, but I know, Mr. Theus, it looks like, knowing what we know about the car, if you can get it fixed, and I'm not just selling you, the $900, which he was.
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, I just need to get it through summer so I can get my student out of college. And then I'd already planned to look at another car in summer. He goes, I think we can get it fixed. I think we can get it right and, get you down the road.
All right.
So anyway, I have a peace about it. Again, Lord's going to provide. So we got that taken care of.
So you don't have the car back yet?
No. So I get to ride to work with Sheila. So I've been getting to work at 7:00
versus when
8:30.
So an hour and a half early.
I'm very productive.
Yeah, I can tell by the pictures you send.
Yeah. Yeah.
From
Yeah,
work.
exactly. Anyway, so that's it's always something with me.
Yeah, and it's always a tough call to fix, or just sometimes you ask those car guys, how much will you give me for it? Because they got people they can sell to all the time.
Well, I don't think he wants this one, but
no,
I think it's going to work out. I just need to get it back and forth to school, 7 miles each way, and I'll be out of here.
Or you're going to get away. I want to see you riding one of those trikes, the pedal trikes. Go get yourself an electric trike. How far away is school?
6 or 7 miles one way.
Nah, that might be tough. Yeah. A lot of kids make it.
What do you mean electric strike?
She's got some fight in her.
She's got some fight in her. So this falls under the category of what am I drinking?
Yeah.
I'm back on the Knob Creek 9. I'm loving it.
Yeah. You're going to go get more?
I'm going to have to. This one's going to get empty.
I just meant you talking about you've been experimenting with different ones. You got it right there.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. We can see it.
Okay.
We don't want some copyright infringement.
I don't care. It's not like they're watching. No, it's
by the way, if you are watching, we would appreciate a sponsorship.
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to give us some money. Just send us a case.
Yeah, I think we'll be happy with just product.
We'll do the Kramer sponsorship, lifetime coffee. Knob Creek 9. I'm digging it. I got some stuff to talk about with bourbon, but I don't want to hog it. So I've been, boning up on bourbon. So I learned some
What
stuff.
do you have to share with us on that?
Well, I think I've got the whole demise of the industry figured out.
Oh, you did. Oh, you mean its current demise, or you're going to demise?
No, it's current demise. Okay. So
which is basically they've gluttoned the market, right?
Well, here's what happened.
I don't want to spoil the ending.
No, that's okay. Well, you're on point. I don't know what year it was, probably 2000, around 2000, when the bourbon market American bourbon market took hold and started growing really fast. And we start to see some of these premium bourbons coming online. The term small batch is thrown out there. Barrel select, where they're pulling it right off the barrel. And so we start to get this boutique kind of feel to it, and it takes off. And so what happens is everybody wants a piece of the pie. And there's a company out of Indiana called MGP, Midwest Grain Products. Well, they start distilling bourbon at like a big commercial factory. and they go in, and someone, let's say Woody comes along and says, "Hey, I want to put my name on a bottle. I want to do
Right.
Woody's bourbon." And I got this great story. Woody was this guy that lived in the 1800s, and he distilled on his back
Pass down
porch.
the recipe.
Yeah, and he's got the family recipe, and it becomes a marketing, story. And then we get the right bottle, and then we get the right logo and the sticker, and MGP distills it in Indiana and then
Mhm.
distributes it however we decide to do that. Well,
Do
people start,
they? Oh, I'm sorry. Do they
yeah, please.
distribute the straight grain alcohol to you to store, or do
Well,
they store?
some of it gets shipped, some of it gets distilled in Indiana, then they ship it to wherever your
Okay,
bottling location is.
got
Some
it.
of
Or
it
your
gets,
barreling location, you mean?
well, they ship it in a barrel. So they either
Okay,
they ship you the barrel from Indiana, or they bottle it in Indiana and push it
okay,
out that way.
all right.
And so we get all these fake stories going.
Yeah,
And now there's scads of these bourbons that are these great frontier stories, and they're bull. It's the
they're all
same
well. It's
stuff.
all the same bourbon,
Yeah,
right?
it's the same juice that's in the bottle right next to it with a different
Well, I'm
logo and a
curious.
different
Do
bottle.
they let you use separate recipes and stuff, or do they? Is it just hey, we make one? Because there's the grain alcohol, right? That when it's clear before it goes in the barrel, right? So I'm curious if that is recipes amenable at
Well,
all.
I think what they're probably doing, kind of like the cigar industry went through this too. What they do is
Okay.
they have a guy like you come up and go, "This is the kind of flavor profile I'm looking for." The
Okay.
story's got to match the
Okay.
flavor, kind
Or
of.
vice versa. Tell me what you got and I'll make the story.
Yeah, exactly. And so then they kind of match it up. But at the end of the day, their economies of scale works on the fact that they're mass producing tons of
Right.
juice, and they're just putting it in different bottles with different
Kind
labels.
of like
So,
the big manufacturer, like the Jim Beams and
well,
those.
bigger than Jim Beam. I mean, they're
Oh,
just
really? That big?
mass
Okay.
producing it.
All right.
So there lies the problem. So they lied to a bunch of the people. The people bought it hook, line, and sinker. And then they produced so much of it and people consume so much of it that we had to get off the aging process. So they had to drop the age off the bottles because they were quite frankly running out of inventory. So
Right.
maybe a bourbon like this one is supposedly aged 9 years. They couldn't wait 9 years because people were blowing it off the shelves. So they had to take
Right.
the age off the bottle. And what I've
Well, that
learned
one
is,
I just had was 3 years, it said on the bottle.
yeah, and four is really the kind of the beginning of the sweet spot. Bourbon
Is
really
that
does
okay?
well 4 years, all the way up to say 7.
Isn't there a minimum for bourbon, or
I think
Kentucky bourbon to be
I
aged? Is it
think it's
3 years?
4.
Ask our research assistant.
Alexa, is there a minimum age for legal bourbon from Kentucky?
21.
Bourbon doesn't have a minimum aging requirement, but straight bourbon must age at least 2 years. Would you like
No.
to learn about different types of bourbon?
No, not yet. So here's where the federal law gets involved. Your Bottled and Bond Act that was passed. Alexa, when was Bottled and Bond Act passed?
The Bottled in Bond Act was passed on March 3, 1897. This law established federal standards for spirit authenticity and quality.
Well, March 3rd, yesterday,
Oh, look at
1897.
that. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that. You're right.
Wow. So what they
Crazy.
did was they had the same shenanigans going on back then. Of course, they had stills all over the side of the countryside,
Right.
and people were making all these blends, and the Canadians were blending it, and who knows what you were getting, what elixir you were getting in the bottle. And so whoever passed the Bottle and Bond Act said it's got to be distilled at the distillery. It's got to be in American white oak barrels. It's got to be
Charred.
pulled at 100 proof out of the barrel. And they set limits and limitations to have it qualified and quantified as bottled and bond. And they were strict, federally observed. They had agents out there at the distillery checking to make sure. So these shenanigans were probably going on.
Right.
But there's no legal definition of small batch. What constitutes a small batch? There's a whole bunch of stuff
Less than a big batch.
Yeah, I still think it's when you're in a hurry is when you do a small batch. Anyway, so what I've learned over the thing about the bourbon is the thing that the bourbon that you drink is bottled and bond and consistent. It's an old established distillery. Your argument about buying from American distilled products is good. The Knob Creek, I believe, if I'm correct, is on the Jim Beam family, which is the Japanese company that owns it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Old Forester, Alexa, who owns Old Forester bourbon? I think it's Jack Daniels.
Old
No.
Forester Bourbon is owned by Brown-Forman Corporation.
Brown-Forman.
Did you know it's America's first bottled bourbon?
So,
Really?
Alexa, what other bourbons does Brown-Forman own?
Brown-Forman owns several bourbon brands, including Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, and Old Forester. They also own other spirits like Finlandia vodka and Herradura tequila.
So Brown-Forman is, legend with the Jack Daniels and the Woodford Reserve.
Right. Okay.
Alexa,
I never was a Jack Daniels fan, so that's why.
well, we'll talk about that real quick in 1 second. Alexa, who owns Knob Creek bourbon?
Knob Creek Bourbon is owned by Suntory Global Spirits. It's produced at the Jim Beam Distillery in Kentucky.
Okay, so Suntory, just the Japanese, but it's there at Jim Beam in Kentucky.
Yeah. I just don't like the profits going
No, I agree.
overseas.
But I am liking this Knob Creek 9. Japanese they're onto something. So anyway, we can talk about Jack Daniels some other time, but the reality is, I get it. So they screwed the pooch. As you would always say, greed got in the way, and look what they did. So now here's what's going to happen. They got all this glut. They got millions of barrels that are just sitting
20
there.
Knob Creek 20.
Well, they're going to have this. They're going to have aged bourbon, so we're going to see it come back.
Yeah,
and it'll be a premium again. They'll be charging, superior pricing.
But they have shut down. Is it Jim Beam that shut? No. Who shut down? Yeah, it was Jim Beam shut down one of their distilleries because
they quit distilling their Beam White label.
Is that okay? That's the normal one.
This was everybody drinks it.
Yeah, well, I used to.
That's the stuff I got sick on all the time.
Really? Well, that's why.
Yeah, I think it was like some sort of
weed.
I think it was the volume.
You think that was
might have been the quantity that was going down. Anyway, I don't do that anymore. All right, well that's my note about bourbon and what am I drinking? So I'm drinking Knob Creek 9.
Yeah, and we've had that on the show before, right?
We have. I was going to go Old Forester today, but I just felt like it's just so smooth. It's 100 proof. It's not real. Doesn't have a lot of fight in it, but it's got a little.
Which
fight.
one? Old Forester?
Old Forester is 115, and that she's got a lot of fight in her.
Okay.
But the Knob Creek's a little bit less.
Well, all right. Well, that's interesting. I did learn a way to burn off some calories that we intake, and that's to fly through the Denver airport. I'm going back to my trip last week, so
a lot of walking, huh?
Good Lord, that place is large. So coming back, I came in on gate B84, and my gate connecting flight was at B11, I think. Yeah, B11. So 84 to 11, which you're like, okay, one concourse, that's no big. Maybe they skip numbers or something, like
fives.
You're right, or something, something stupid. Nope. that was a walk from literally one end of the concourse to the other. And so I got back to home, and the next day I looked it up on Google Earth and I measured it. It was 3/4 of a mile. It was from one gate to the next. And I walked the whole thing. I didn't use those escalators in the middle or anything like that.
3/4 of 1 mile?
Yes.
Woody, if you had said 3 miles, then I would have
felt. Come on, you're walking that, and with their luggage and stuff. It's not
your luggage has wheels on it.
Now my backpack.
3/4 of a mile.
All right.
You have a cocktail in your hand too,
Mr. Olympian. I want to see you trot 3/4 of a mile.
We did it in California last year.
Yeah, sure you did. So. Anyhow, it is a rather large airport, both in runways and in concourses. So,
did you ever fly into the old Stapleton in Denver?
No. In fact, that is, at least that I can. Maybe as a kid I did or something, but This is the first time I remember going into Denver at all, let alone.
Yeah, I remember when they built that thing. It was in the middle of nowhere. But then,
it
of course,
still is.
everything's kind of built up around it now.
Flying in, you kind of see it. Yeah, I remember the stories of it opening. It was supposed to be the most technically advanced airport.
Yeah.
It was like mid to early 90s, I believe, because I looked it up. I did the Google Earth time lapse, and I went back, and I think I saw them breaking ground in like 92 or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
I was going out there for Breckenridge for sales meetings.
Oh, okay. Sweet. How is Breckenridge? Good town?
Well, what I remember of it, yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you got sick on Jimmy?
No, it was summertime with Herman Miller.
Oh.
Yeah, summertime. So we'd go there in the off season, and then the best thing about it was that you were there for a week and they gave you 2 free days, and then they provided excursions.
Right.
And so mine was fly fishing. So
I got this every time you went, you did fly fishing?
Yeah, everyone else was doing rafting and, sightseeing. I'm like, I want to go sit in a river all day. So I got this guide and I gave him $100 bill and I said, don't take me where everyone else goes. I want to go where you go. He goes, okay.
Okay. All right.
So we fly fish for 2 days. It was awesome.
Do you know how to fly fish?
Oh yeah.
You just know how to throw your fly out into the river and let it sit?
Well, you have to zip up first. That's the key thing.
Is that the pantaloons you wear or something?
When you fly fish, yeah, you have to make sure you're zipped up.
I missed that. Sorry, Dave. I totally missed that.
I'm quite the what would you be called yourself? Gamer? No, that's not right. What do you call yourself? Gamesman?
No, I'm kicking in there, Dave. Can't
remember what you call yourself. A fisherman?
A skilled fly fisherman? I don't know what you're searching for there.
I'm quite the fisherman.
Okay. All right.
Of all facets.
Will you clean your own fish?
I don't know if we kept any. I think it was
But would you? Do you know how to clean your own fish?
Okay. Definitely. Yeah.
Interesting.
I caught brownies, I caught brooks, and I caught some rainbows. Mostly.
It mostly sounds like you're doing drugs, Dave. I really think brownies and rainbows and.
When you catch the brown trout, you want to make sure you're upstream. You always release those. You always catch and release those.
Yeah, you sure you were fishing? Partaking of the local
think it's
agriculture.
A brown trout, Bob. Oh, you're going to want to let that one go. All right, that's
They smell bad.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right. Well, we have like roughly 5 minutes left. Do you have any 5-minute discussions on your notes? I forgot to look at mine again.
Well, I do have can I share a podcast idea?
Yes, please.
So, I like podcasting, Woody.
You do?
Yeah, I do. And I'm always
thinking do that in your off time?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about ideas. And the chatting with Alexa thing, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But it was fun. So
I'm an old episodes.
Yeah. I'm an old sales guy,
Yeah.
And so I like this AI stuff that we're playing around with. And I even got into Chat GPT because you kind of talked me into it. And so
you got to get out of that now.
Is there something communist to it or something?
You got to move to Claude. Yeah.
Okay.
They're selling our stuff to the government. So.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me get through this. There's a part of what I do during the day teaching that I like. And I often talk about historical context with the kids so that we understand how we got where we are today. You have to know where you've been before you know how to get there. And so I've been in sales all my life. My career was somehow related to sales. I call it teaching and sales. So I came up with this thought process that I wanted to take a look at the history of sales. I know this is riveting, but some people will appreciate this. Where did it start? And so who did it start with? And so industrialization back in the 1800s when Henry Ford started selling cars, really we didn't have salesmen before that. So there's an era of the birth, not the death of a salesman, but the birth of the salesman, which happens about 1890, 1900, where we see door-to-door salesmen. And so it started with a fellow who came up with a national cash register company, and it goes forward over there. NCR. So I deployed Chat GPT, and I said, this is what I want to do. So I spelled it out what I want to do, and they spit out a whole dialogue and even an outline that breaks it down. It's going to be at least 12 episodes to start off with. But
12
basically,
episodes.
well, I mean, it's the foundational piece of it. But let's see if I can give you the rough draft. It's called The Sales Time Machine with David Theus.
All right.
And so it's step into the time machine and journey through the fascinating evolution of selling. The Sales Time Machine chronicles the history of sales from the early days of traveling salesmen to the digital deal makers of today. Each episode explores a different decade, spotlighting the legendary authors, groundbreaking books, and timeless techniques that shape the way we buy and sell. So that's just a little taste of it. But there's the cool thing is most salespeople were taught early on you got to read, and you got to be vigorous readers. And so there's going to be books and authors available for me to. I got to figure out a way to do like a bookstore.
Right.
So the
All
book
right.
I'm talking about, they can purchase it from me.
Use your Amazon
Yeah.
click through. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just an idea. The Sales Time Machine. It'll be rolling out. Pretty cool graphics that came out of I'm gone red faced again. It must be.
Yeah. When you took the paper away, you went red.
Yeah.
So
Could be
something
the
changed on your filter there.
Anyway, so that look for that, and it's the thing is I'll be able to cross promote it in my own stuff, which will help things immensely.
Oh, and your newsletters and stuff you do for
Yeah,
the business
kinds of
people
stuff.
of Clay
But we'll
County.
see.
All right. Well,
It
good
may
luck
just
to
be
you,
smoke
buddy.
and
Thanks
mirrors
for
at this-
including us or me specifically.
Well, we'll be cross promoting it. You know,
Yes.
we can help.
Between your bourbon podcast and your business podcast, and then this lane one. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
You'll be
pretty
just
much it.
flush with cash.
I don't know if flush is the word. I'm flush now, though.
Yeah, apparently you've gone bright red. You're gonna have to get yourself one of those halo lights soon.
Yeah, we got to do something better. The lighting's terrible in this place. Talk to the management.
Or maybe it's your lights. Are you under fluorescent lights or anything?
No, I got a lampshade that makes me look red, I think.
Okay. Sometimes
This
you're
lamp-
green.
This lampshade right here is messing things
Okay.
up.
Usually you're green. So
Anything
and I
else
think you
real
were.
quick that we need to cover?
No, I was just looking. Oh, hey, real quick, we do have like a couple minutes. I saw a quote this week that I'm a big advocate when my kids were playing sports, that you don't brag, right? You know, act like you've been there when you score a goal.
Yeah.
You know, no need to highlight yourself to the other team or anything. And I personally was aggravated when I saw kids do that. And it, kind of angered me because I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You little brat. But I saw a quote this week from Dean Smith, and I was never a UNC fan, but I thought it says a lion never roars after a kill. I thought that was pretty good way of saying that kind of same thing, that you don't brag.
Yeah, but
be humble.
That's a beautiful quote, and it capsules everything. But is it true? I mean, really, has he been there where he's seen a lion and say, "Hey, look at that"?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant did Dean Smith say that? Yeah, he was there. He just sat around. He waited. He saw maybe
because he's so full.
A couple hundred kills. Yeah, he saw a couple hundred kills and said, "You know what? I noticed the lion never roars."
Yeah, he's sleeping. That's why.
I didn't
All right.
think
Well,
about that part.
let me. No, I don't want to play one-upmanship, but since you started it,
I didn't start it.
So we lost a great one today. You hear about that?
Apparently not. Well, let me see who the great one is, and maybe I have. Who'd we lose today?
He lived in Orlando, in fact, and there's not something tied to. I didn't realize he was residing in Orlando as of his late years. 89 years old. The infamous coach Lou Holtz.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that. Yeah, he was a great speaker and motivator, and even the lisp he had,
He came to UCF, one summer.
Yeah, did coach?
Well, he was coming after one of the boys. One of our guys in our fraternity, his brother played at Notre Dame.
Okay.
And he came down to,
he
get him.
That stupid story.
But
hey, why aren't you at football practice? I don't need to be there for another week. You sure? Because I think they picked his starting lineup already.
Yeah, what a great guy, though.
Yeah.
One of the great
Yeah.
ones. Lou Holtz. All honor
Yeah.
to his name.
There you go. Was he a SIG?
Why not?
Okay. I was thinking, well, maybe he was. I don't know. Could be. Ask Alexa real quick, and then we'll say goodbye.
Alexa, was Coach Lou Holtz a Sigma Chi fraternity brother?
There's no information available about Lou Holtz being a Sigma Chi fraternity brother.
Okay. Thank you. Let's say goodnight.
Was Dave Theus a Sigma Chi fraternity brother?
I don't have any information about Dave Theos being a Sigma Chi fraternity brother.
It's a lie. It's lies.
Lou Holtz could have been.
You've been lying all these years.
I didn't find any saved notes about Lou Holtz.
Okay.
Would you like me to save that information for you?
No, Alexa, good night. Anyway.
Say goodbye.
Yeah, let's say goodbye.
Sleep
All right.
well, David.
Okay. Get a lot of hand here. All right. Well, this has been a good episode. Welcome back. I'm glad you're
Thank
back
you.
safe and sound. And all
Appreciate
things
it.
considered, it's been a week, but you made it through
Yeah.
it.
Very good.
All right. Oops. Peace out and guard well the honor of the cross.
There you go.
Where's the button? All right. I'll see.
Just show we could go another hour before.
All right. See you later.